technical advisor to the governor of Bayelsa State on communication and strategy, Evarada Abednego, joins me now to discuss the outcome of Governor Diri's investment drive, how the administration has been attending to the welfare of workers, educational footprints, and roadmap for a new Bayelsa State. Great to have you on Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tokwe. Good to have me here.
Well, so let's start, with the specific investment that Governor Diri has attracted to Bayelsa State, and how do these investments align with the state's economic development goals?
Yeah, I think first of all, before we talk about even investments, investment cannot thrive in any environment. And indeed, investors can't implement their resources on any environment where there isn't peace and tranquility. In Bayelsa State, the first thing we've done as a government is to ensure that we make the right investment in providing an enduring environment for investors to come, for people to understand their life matters, so that people who are doing business there, either citizens or folks coming in, will understand that this is, of course, a very safe environment. We also want to make sure as a government that security operatives within the state have an open field to deal with issues in accordance with conscience and, of course, law. We also do one thing that is very essential, which is creating an uncommon partnership and collaboration with the people of the state to ensure that the people work together with security agencies in terms of showing ownership and responsibility. And that is what we've been able to do. First, we have got it right in security, and so Bayelsa State today is a very safe state for all folks who want to do business there or are living there. The next thing is we are looked at opening up the state for investment. And so we look at areas of building capacity in our young folks. Largely, our state is a civil service state, and it's not the best thing for any state anywhere in the world. And so what we've been able to do is to train and retrain, build capacity young folks. Having done that, another thing that is crucial is to look at the area of energy. Energy sufficiency is one major thing that has remained a bane in terms of development. And so in Bayelsa State, the state government has gone further, not just building roads and bridges, but to also ensure that December this year, 3 months from now, precisely 3 months from now, Bayelsa State is going to be the first state in this country that is going to have 24 hours uninterrupted power supply. As we speak today, the turbines have landed in this country and groundwork is being done. The structure is almost set. And we believe that between now and November ending, we'll start seeing wonderful things, and by December, uninterrupted power supply. So we are seeing a situation where the world is saying, and there is so much transparency in Bayelsa State because Diri's administration isn't hiding policies in just like a black box. What we do is to open it like a water fountain that is powered by super engines. Everybody can see, either here in Abuja or anywhere in the world. And so the world continues to converge. A few days ago, we had a company from Turkey who came to Bayelsa State and said they want to build solar panels, and of course electric meters, smart electric meters. We understand that energy consumers in this country have been complaining about over $1 billion, etc. But you see, we believe that anything we want to do should meet first standard in the contemporary society. And so the company from Turkey has come, is a renowned, globally recognized company. They are here. They've signed MOUs with the state government. The T's and the I's have been dotted. And in a few months' time, they will commence the production of solar panels. So Nigerians who go to Dubai, to Germany, to Ukraine, to Italy, etc., to get solar panels can actually go to Bayelsa State and get solar panels, of course, smart electric meters. It's going to create job opportunities for our folks. It's going to make the IGR of the state to improve. And that's what we believe. Aside investing in education, health, and other areas of critical needs for our people, we believe that energy sufficiency and security have been paramount, and we're driving towards that direction without looking back.
Well, thank you very much for that. But I would like you to touch on steps that have been taken to address environmental and flood disasters in the state, especially in this rainy season that we're in.
Yeah, we understand that Bayelsa State is largely a riverine state, and some folks describe Bayelsa State as more delta state and river state. Virtually every front, every corner in Bayelsa State is waterlogged. What we've been able to do as an administration is to ensure that first we tackle environmental challenges within the state capital. Hitherto, we used to have situations where water will be locked everywhere, and of course, a little downpour of rain, you see everywhere submerged by water. That is no longer the situation. The reason being that we've been able to open new canals and to ensure that the old ones are cleared, and of course, people have been taught in the right manners for them to behave well in terms of managing, their waste. And of course, the environmental sanitation in Bayelsa State has brought in new innovations to ensure that every person is a keys into that. What we have in Bayelsa State today is a flowing state in terms of water. And so water is no longer locked anywhere. We believe that, of course, it's not only about the state capital. What about the other areas of the state? We have flood and erosion, we have ocean encroachment, etc. We are aware that Bayelsa State as a government has taken the fight or the challenge of ocean encroachment and, of course, other environmental degradation to even the United Nations to discuss that. But as a government, what we've been able to do in terms of policy in matters of environment is to ensure that, look, we deal with issues of shore protection, shore embankment, and of course reclamation. The side of shore, sea and what you call ocean encroachment, that one is pretty difficult, and we're collaborating with the federal government and critical agencies of government to ensure that we drive towards that direction. And budgetary provisions in and out, year in, year out, we've been doing all of that to ensure that our people have a better lease of life. But we must understand that Bayelsa State, as a state that produces so much of the national economy, deserves a better share of that. And that's why we'll continue to push for true federalism, so that most of these issues will not go with cap in hand to the federal government asking that X, Y, Z needs to be done. We have an administration on the ground that means well for the people, that is prudent and frugal in management of resources. All that we need is more resources, because the people have keen into it is working, and will continue to do that.
Now, a couple of months back, Bayelsa State government signed an MOU with the Dangote Group. I'm wondering how that fits into the state's industrialization plans, particularly in the area of agro-allied industries and gas development.
We understand that Bayelsa State is a major player in terms of oil revenue, contribution to the economy. And Bayelsa State government, no doubt, had an MOU with Dangote Group of companies. It was a fantastic idea, fully accepted by the people of the state and all critical stakeholders across party lines. As we speak today, Dangote is working in Bayelsa State, developing a very robust gas plant, and of course, it's going to energize the state and, of course, the region, the Niger Delta in general. So sister states like Delta State, River State, and Edo State, and even Imo State, they can tap into the avalanche of opportunity, because Bayelsa State has a heavy deposition of gas more than any other part of this country. And that is what Dangote is doing. The work is ongoing, and the state government is providing everything in terms of security and, of course, other support structures. It's working, and we believe that within the shortest possible time, we're going to start reaping the dividends. Even as it stands now, so much of our young folks who have been trained in different areas of necessity and, of course, comparative advantage have been employed in that, and more are going to get jobs in that area. Of course, services will be rendered to our people that will bring true prosperity to bear.
I'd like us to move to the education sector. What initiative has the Diri administration implemented to improve education in Bayelsa State, and how have these initiatives impacted the educational sector in the state so far?
Yeah, the prosperity administration of Governor Diri is all about education, education, and education, from primary to secondary and, of course, tertiary. We believe that, look, the only way we can place Bayelsa State in the front burner of global development is about empowering the young folks in the state in terms of education. We don't only build schools, but it's on record that we have built more schools than any administration they can talk of in Bayelsa State. We are not running comparison, however, but every community will attest to the fact that new schools have been built. We don't just build schools. We build schools and ensure that we equip them with the necessaries, all that is required in terms of instructional materials. And we'll also go further to ensure that every teacher in Bayelsa State acquires the best of training. And that is why, teachers and retraining of teachers is a continuous process. Month in, month out, we do that. The reason we are doing all of that is we believe that, look, beautiful schools and furnished schools alone will not improve educational standard. And that's why we're saying, look, for us to achieve what we want to achieve in terms of education, we have to train the teachers. Having trained the teachers, we say that's not enough. Let us employ more. And so we continue to employ more year in, year out. Even as we speak today, Bayelsa State has gone into full collaboration with organizations both local and international, including MultiChoice, who have come to give Bayelsa State what we have at Bayelsa Prime. It's one of the first in this country where MultiChoice comes to Bayelsa State with softwares and teaching processes and procedures where every part of the state is taught the same thing. Primary school A, primary school Z, and Y. They are taught the same thing at the same time. And the governor school monitors, the administrators, directors of school can sit anywhere, any part of the state to monitor with just a little electronics, and you see all of that done. The reason we are doing all of that is because we believe primary education first is the basis for us to advance to the next level. In terms of secondary school education, we have built more schools than you can't imagine. There isn't a part of the state in terms of communities and, of course, wards that they cannot see new schools and, of course, other ones that are being renovated. The system is about building capacity for our young folks. And when you talk about tertiary institutions in Bayelsa State, of course, we do have the Niger Delta University and other tertiary institutions. What we've been able to do is to ensure that every course in those schools, every course in those institutions are given full accreditation so that we do not have a situation where we have challenges of accreditation. And much more, we provide the requisite funds for them to drive the process so that research and other activities can be carried out. These schools need to also generate funds for themselves and, of course, alongside what government gives as subventions. It's working and it's getting better and life is improving. And, of course, we are very sure that the nearest nearest future, Bayelsa State is going to achieve uncommon highs in terms of educational profiling.
So just before I let you go, I would like you to tell us how Governor Diri's administration has improved the welfare of workers. What measures are in place to safeguard, their future, and of course the health insurance scheme that we know is in play at the moment.
Yeah, Bayelsa State has become a front runner in terms of workers' welfare in this country. From local government to state civil servants, the story is that of a government that cares about the welfare of its citizens. A few days ago, the world, and indeed the country, local government employers, union, the leadership, the National Union of Medical and Health Workers convention by Bayelsa State. And what happened was the celebration of excellence in service delivery to workers at the local government level. As we speak today, Nigerians are talking about how local government workers can be paid out gratuities and pensions and debt benefits can be paid to workers and senior citizens of the state who are from that tier of government. But in Bayelsa State, to the month of August this year, we can tell anyone who cares to listen, and of course, please do a fast check. There isn't a single person who served in the Bayelsa State local government service structure or tier of government that will say that his pension gratuity, or even those who have lost lives, in terms of death benefit that has not been paid. The state government just a few days ago paid about 12 billion naira. And so the leadership of these national unions of local government employers and medical health workers went to Bayelsa State to confer an award to the governor of the state as a champion of local government reforms in the country. Whereas people are talking about payment of salary and gratuities in other states, ours is about excellence. We have broken the barrier. We have ensured that we set new records. And what we are asking others to do, like lending credence to what we are doing, the national president of National Union of Local Government Workers did say in Bayelsa, and I quote, that look, what are other state governors doing? Let them come to Bayelsa State and understudy the Diri's approach in local government reform that is making all households in the state to celebrate this excellence. That is what we are doing. So when we talk about, a reformation of local government, we are talking about empowering the people, building capacity in them, paying their salaries, ensuring that promotion and arrears are given as at when due. And of course, you don't need to know any person in the system before you get what is due you. This is not just peculiar to local government. It's about all the working force in the state. And the workforce in the state is celebrated excellent. That is why you can't hear a day when you say workers have down tools or there is a short of schools or offices of government. The reason because we pay about the highest in the country, and of course we care about the welfare of our citizens. That's what we are doing, and that is just about workers. But let me say, for the right reasons too, in terms of health service delivery, Bayelsa State is about the first, because when we say we're collaborating with institutions and agencies and organizations to ensure that we expand the reach out of health service delivery to our people, we are looking at the Bayelsa State Health Insurance Scheme. It's one of the first in the country. And what are we doing? We're ensuring that we build capacity in service providers, of course, providing the needs to our people in all health centers and, of course, secondary and tertiary health service delivery networks in the state. It's the best of its kind. So folks will go to Bayelsa State, and when they see drones inundating the airspace, they start wondering, is this Ukraine or where are we? And of course, we are in Bayelsa State. Those drones are not for war. They are doing just a simple thing. Aside the fact that some are doing, area monitor of the state in terms of security profiling, what those drones are doing, and of course, they are providing necessaries, health consumables to health rack centers, to ensure that our people, whenever they are in need, they will not travel from their local areas to Yenagoa. Services are taken to them. The medical help personnel are there on ground. Now, the Bayelsa State Health Insurance Scheme is not just about civil servants. All persons, including folks like my father, who was a palm quarter, like Gula Jonathan's father, who was a canoe cover, all of them, teachers and farmers, fishermen, all of them. All members of the house, and of course, you don't just need to be a Bayelsan. All folks who are residing in the state, all you need to do, register with the system, you pay little or nothing, and the state government is providing the base of services for you in terms of health service delivery. That's why we're talking about prosperity. Government that provides for the people in all fronts does just one thing: make the people happy, put food on the table, secure the people, and make life meaningful. It's working in Bayelsa State, and the Diri dose is, of course, the antidote for change in our states.
Well, very well said. Evarada Abednego, Technical Advisor to the Governor of Bayelsa State on Communication and Strategy. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.